Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Rewrite Your Story podcast. I can't believe that this is episode 8. Wow, it's really flying in. I can't thank you all enough for tuning in each week. I get so excited when I get your comments and hear your feedback on the episodes. It truly means so much to me when I hear you guys telling me about how you're starting to implement these steps into your life and that you're starting to explore this journey and how you can rewrite your story too. It genuinely means the world to me. This week, we have a very special guest on to talk about safety, how before you start jumping in to the deep work and unveiling some really tough things within your life, you got to feel safe first. Safe within yourself, your surroundings, and the people you're with, especially before you start delving in to things that may be uncomfortable and bring up some topics that you're not ready for. So without further ado, let's get into the episode.
Hello and welcome to the Rewrite Your Story podcast. If you are someone who is looking to take power back into your life and be in control of your destiny, then this is for you. This podcast was created to empower others by sharing the tools that have truly transformed my life. So sit back, relax, and let's start rewriting your story today.
For anybody who's viewing along on YouTube, you can see that we have a wonderful guest with us today. I could talk about this woman for hours, so I think it's best to pass it over to her to explain who she is and what she does. So, Steph, for those who do not know you, could you give us a bit of an introduction?
Of course. Thank you so much, Amy. I'm so excited to be here today. I love you. I love the show. I love what you're doing, and this is amazing. But for your listeners, I'm Steph German. I am a self-love and body image coach, and I specialize in helping trauma survivors find freedom and step into their purpose. So I work specifically with trauma survivors because I am a sexual trauma survivor myself. And it's something that I'm very passionate about and very encouraged to do for others because I've been through a lot myself. And I love hearing people's stories and helping them get unstuck and helping them step into what feels good for them. And that's what I do. And a big piece of that is self-love and body image. So I focus specifically on the self-love and body image portion because those of us who have suffered through trauma have a bit of an unsteady connection with our bodies, and it turns into many different things, so which I know we're going to talk about today. But that's what I do, and that's why I'm here. I'm excited to talk about everything.
Yay, I'm so excited to have you here. You know, a bunch of the listeners have reached out to me over the weeks and said kind of topics they'd be interested in hearing about, or they've heard me kind of touch on some of the issues that I had with my self-care and my body image. I've referenced a few times in other episodes that I had struggled with an eating disorder at the time, and definitely with control and loving myself. And, you know, a lot of listeners have asked about that. And that's kind of another reason why I wanted Steph to come on. Not only is her purpose and her message so in line with what the birth of this podcast has came about, but the kind of core of what she does and what she focuses on is so much about that self-care and self-love. That was a big part of my journey on writing my story. So I wanted to invite the experts on to pass on their words of wisdom to you guys so that you can start implementing this in your own life. And, you know, for someone who does what she does, she's rewritten her story. She's taken the power back in her life and is empowering others. There's clearly something within you, Steph, that gets you empowered every day. And I want to touch on that to some degree of wanting to know what is it in your life that you do or that you have that makes you feel empowered, whether it's every day or when you kind of feel that energy dip. What do you do to get you back up on that level?
There's a couple of things that I do. First off is look at my daughter. Like she is my why. She is my go-to every single day. Like she is the ray of sunshine that gets me out of bed in the mornings. And then when I've had my daily dose of munchkin, I go for a run. I go outside. I take deep breaths. That's a big one for me is connecting to nature. And getting outside, for those of you who are listening, and I know for you, Amy, and for myself, when you're in that space and you just don't want to get out of bed, the hardest thing that you'll do every day is get out of bed. And for those of you who are in that state, I want to say that if you got out of bed today, you go. That's freaking amazing. That's awesome. One step at a time. If you got out of bed today, you're winning. And that's one thing I tell myself every morning. It's like, hey, you got out of bed today. And there was a time that I didn't. And my daughter is one of those things that gets me out of bed, and she's my why. And if I get to go outside and take that beautiful deep breath of fresh air and see that sunshine and connect with the trees and the waves and the sand, and it's just it's definitely one thing that really just nourishes my soul. So and of course it took me a while to get there, but with a lot of practice, that's where I am now. So I love being a mom and I love being outside.
I love that. And you are in a perfect backdrop to be going outside. Like, if anybody doesn't know where in the world that Steph is, she is in wonderful Hawaii, which is on my to-do list of places to get for
Yes.
sure. But hey, even on my doorstep, I might not have the beautiful ocean right there, but I definitely getting out into nature, being grounded, getting into that fresh air and just breathing and connecting with nature is so important.
Yeah.
And it's something we do forget a lot to do, especially in the times that we're in, such as now with
Mhm.
COVID and everything happening. It's kind of scary to go outside, but it's good to have those moments to reconnect. Couldn't
It is.
agree more. Couldn't
Yeah.
agree.
Yes, it's so good. Even just to take one step out of your front door and look up, like we're always looking down now, right? So at computer screens, at phones, like, so many people, even when they're walking, they look down. So I challenge your listeners and even you, like the next time you go outside, look up, like look up at the sky. Yes, look up, like stretch your neck out and like open your airway to get a deep breath into your body and just see how it feels. Take a moment, look up at the sky, and take that big, beautiful breath in, and just notice how it feels. It's so good, and it takes 2 seconds, right?
Yeah.
So you are one of the people that was able to get out of bed today. Go you! And if we can take it one step further to go outside, look up at that beautiful sky, and take a breath. Ah, so good, so good.
I love it. It's nice for that reminder. It's those simple things that we used to just do that we can sometimes forget to do, but they're like the core foundations to just being and moving. And
Of
we
self
forget
care.
we forget
Yeah.
the baby steps. We want to run before we can walk. We forget the stuff that's just so natural to us. So thanks for that beautiful reminder. And I will do that as soon as we're done this call. I'm getting my butt outside and I'm looking right up at the sky and taking a good old breath.
Yeah, I mean, it is a super basic foundation of self-care to just notice that, yeah, I'm breathing and I can take a deep breath and I can make it feel even better than it normally does to just breathe and be alive. And I mean, we can talk all day about, like, oh, getting a mani pedi and going to a foot spa or whatever the case might be. But self-care isn't just manis and pedis and face masks and massages and, candles or anything like that. It's whatever makes you feel good. So, and I mean, what feels good for me may not be the same thing that feels good for you. So
Yeah.
maybe you're shaking your head and saying, Steph, that's ridiculous, looking up at the sky and taking a breath. It's just a breath. It's like, okay, then what would make you feel good? What is it that would make you feel good? Would stepping outside make you feel good? Would taking a nap make you feel good? Or
I
just
love
resting?
that.
Yeah, whatever it is, we all go through different things that feel good, and understanding what that is for each one of us is important, and that's the basis of self-care and self-love, frankly.
I I love that. How do you, when it comes to dealing with your clients that come to you for your life coach services, when you kind of approach the topic of self care with them, because a lot of them are coming to you different parts of their trauma story, whether it be at the beginning where they've just realized that they want to get help for this, or if they've maybe done a bit of work but they still want to grow more. How do you kind of get them into that space of learning to look after themselves and putting themselves first? I know for me, that was something I really struggled with. I'll help everybody else, but don't worry about me. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. How do you work on that with your clients that come to you?
It starts with feeling safe. So knowing that you're safe to feel the way that you do, and knowing that you get to come first, that we're putting ourselves first, right? And our own safety, our own needs, and whatever is blocking that that necessary kind of put yourself first. You need to get your needs met before you can kind of serve everybody else. That whole fill your cup kind of,
Mm-hmm.
analogy of like fill your cup first, because we can't serve anybody else from an empty cup, right? So in many instances, my clients come to me and they're just like that. They're serving everybody else around them because it feels more comfortable to serve others than it does to serve themselves, because they're in so much pain. So we slowly need to kind of turn it around and say, okay, well, let's fill your cup. It's okay for you to have a full cup. Why does it? And then then I start asking questions like, why does it not feel okay for you to have a full cup? Where does that come from? And we kind of dive into that. And a lot of times, most times it comes back to we don't feel safe in our own bodies. We don't feel safe to receive anything that does feel good. So we don't ultimately take care of ourselves because it's just uncomfortable. It's foreign, especially for those of us who have suffered through trauma. It's very foreign for us to feel good because we felt so
Oh yeah.
unwell for so long. So what the norm is not us feeling good. So first we need to feel safe in the body so that we can start receiving things that do feel good. So safety first is one thing that I always talk about on my Instagram. You'll see me use hashtag safety first, and I talk about that all the time. So hashtag safety first. Like, we establish safety in the body because in order to feel anything, including self-care and self-love, we need to feel safe to feel it.
Yeah.
That's where I start with all of my clients, regardless of where they are in their journey. We talk about what safety feels like. We talk about what it feels like in the body to feel safe in order to do this work, because it's very deep work. It's very heavy. It's very, we talk about shadows, we talk about darkness, and we also talk about lightness and the fun of self care. So it's a very wide spectrum. So in order to experience all of that, we do need to feel safe in our body first.
I love that. And like for me, when you say safety first, the first things I kind of think of is like, my breath, my heart rate, the environment I'm in, that I feel calm. Like those kinds of words are what come to my brain. What when you kind of say safety first, is that am I spot on, or would you kind of add more to that?
Yeah. So, I mean, safety is different. Safety looks different for everybody, but
True.
everything that you just said, absolutely. Like, if you're not, so if you think about the opposite of when you're not feeling safe, yeah, you do have an elevated heart rate. You may be in an environment that doesn't feel good. You may be with people that don't feel good. Um, your breath may be, rapid. You may have rapid, shallow breathing and everything. And that's kind of physical indications of something that isn't safe. So, on the other side of that, feeling safe in your body may look like, oh yeah, I have a regulated heart rate. I have slow, deep breaths. I'm not sweating. I'm not around anybody that I feel uncomfortable with. I'm not in an environment that makes me feel unsafe. Um, Whatever that safety piece looks like for you, there is an associated feeling to it as well. So
Yeah.
whether safety feels like openness in your heart, or it feels like groundedness throughout your feet, or or maybe you're able to connect spiritually, like safety feels like your connection to spirit in some way. So it looks a little bit different for everybody. For an example, I feel safe when I'm fully grounded, meaning my feet are actually touching the earth. So like skin to earth. So I feel most safe when I can bury my feet into the grass or into the sand, or, something like that. So when I feel agitated or anxious, or kind of like dysregulated in any way, like kind of like agitaty, fuzzy, whatever, however you want to describe it, I always ground myself. So that's another reason why I love connecting to nature so much, is because it just fully grounds me and fully just kind of helps me feel safe.
I love that. That's such a nice, like, it's when you say it, I'm like, that's so simple and it makes so much sense. But when you're in it, it's hard to see how simple it can be,
Yep.
how that solution can be. And this is a really nice follow up. And last week's episode was talking about PTSD and triggers. So
Mm,
now your safe space is like the opposite of when you're triggered. It's the polar
yeah,
opposite to that. So this
it
is
is.
a beautiful follow up on that sort of episode.
Yeah, and
Um,
it's the foundation of that self-care piece. It's,
yeah,
when you are triggered and you're suffering from PTSD and everything, we also have to like regulate. So I mean, we get activated and then we deactivate. So it's just kind of it is the other side of the spectrum to to feel safe.
yeah,
Obviously, if you're if you're not feeling safe, you are going to get panicky and anxious, and you may have a panic episode from PTSD or whatever it is that you're suffering from. It can be scary. So knowing what safety feels like in your body is that beautiful way to channel that in, and a great starting point for my clients. And it does get to be easy. That's something I actually tell my clients a lot, is that it gets to be easy. We don't need to overthink it. It gets to feel good, and it gets to be easy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I hope you guys listen to all the good nuggets she's been saying, and try to implement it. I'm definitely going to remind myself of some of these for sure, and be a bit more conscious, especially in the next week of while I'm doing things, and try to remind myself a few times. I really like that idea, just bringing safety first and kind of going into that safe space before I kind of tackle anything. I really love that idea. I'm gonna try it. So I hope you guys that are listening do too.
Give it a try. Yes, give it a try. Remember that we can't progress and do anything unless we're in that space of feeling good to do so. And if we're already agitated, if we're already activated in that way, and I don't know if you've had anybody on to talk about like nervous system activation and things like that, but that's where the
Yeah.
safety piece comes in. Is we have to feel safe, we have to feel regulated. Our nervous system has to be regulated in order for us to go into a healing journey, in order for us to fully expand into what that healing may bring to us. And if we're not feeling safe to feel the dark, sticky parts that are necessary to feel in order to heal, then we won't heal. So we have to be in this beautiful space of safety, of groundedness, of openness, of vulnerability, in order to reach those elements of what healing really is. And it's just, it's a combination of like, oh, this is what makes me feel safe. And then it's a combination of maintenance and the self-care aspect of, well, I'm not feeling safe, and these are a few things that I can do that make me feel good to help me get to a state of safety, so
Yeah.
that I can progress in my healing journey. And kind of, we go around in a circle, right? So we start feeling good, we feel safe, we're grounded, we're doing our self-care, we do some healing, we feel dark and sticky, we feel the pain, and then we start to feel safe again, and then we start to, we kind of just go around in this circle, right? And that's what healing looks like. And all the while, the circle is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we're expanding, and we're learning more about ourselves, we're becoming more enlightened about our healing journeys, we're healing old wounds, and we're creating new partnerships. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful process that starts with safety and self-care.
I love seeing it as a circle. I never thought of that, but I touch on it in my other episodes too, where I kind of say that self-care and self-development, it's not a case of you rewrite your story and you're done. It's a continuous journey. It's a continuous loop. That's such a beautiful analogy to have for that. I literally drew a little circle in my notebook because I'm like, I love that idea. I really do. I really do. And you touched on something that I want to pick your brain on a little bit. What you'd mentioned that you kind of have to feel, to like be aware of this, and you feeling is healing. And I don't know about you, but for me, especially someone who's been through trauma, when I started this journey, that feeling of safety, and when I say that when I said earlier, when I think of safety, I think of calm, I think of relaxed, I think of stillness. But when I would be in that space, it felt so uncomfortable to me because I wasn't familiar with it. So like when I started to try to do my self-care and my work on myself, as soon as I felt calm, I was agitated because I'm like, no, this isn't normal. I need to be doing something. I need to distract myself. And that's maybe also why I put my energy into helping other people, because if I helped others, I didn't need to look at my stuff. I didn't need to open me up. So at the beginning for me, it was something I really struggled with, was to sit in the calm and sit in the stillness, because my subconscious sees me in that and is like, no, this is unfamiliar. Run, get out of here. How do you tackle that with some of your clients? Because I'm sure that's something you may have even experienced yourself too on this journey.
Yeah. Again, it comes back to safety. You're safe to feel the pain just as much as you're safe to feel the calm.
Yeah.
So as soon as you start feeling that calm and you hear your mind going, what is this? What is this crazy? Like, this is nuts. Like, I've been activated for 30 plus years. Like, what is this calmness? Like, and you just want to go, 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 because it feels so just foreign to sit in the stillness. And again, it comes back to safety. We're safe to feel still. We're safe to feel calm.
You
So then yeah, exactly. It's safety is tied to all sensations. We're safe to feel all of the sensations, all of the feelings, all of whatever might come up. And our mind is the trigger, right? So our mind can just kind of help. We have to trick the mind from the body up. So we establish safety in the body first in order to tell the mind like, hey, we're safe, which tells the brain, oh, I don't need to freak out because the body is fully regulated. Body's fully safe. Body is telling me that it's fully regulated. There's nothing going wrong, right? Whereas the other way around, if we look from the top down, so mind to body, the mind is what triggers all of the agitation in the first place. So there's a flag, and if you've experienced trauma and have post-traumatic stress disorder, your alarm system is constantly going off. Nothing feels safe. Everything feels terrible, and you're constantly in the state of panic, like anxiety, and you're hypervigilant, right? Because your brain is telling you that something isn't right. So it's giving you those signals. So if we start from the body first and learn how to kind of calm down the mind, like through things like meditation or connecting with nature, doing those self-care practices that help ground you, that help establish the sense of safety in the body through an action, through an external action of movement or meditation or yoga or whatever the case might be. There's a few different elements that I use with my clients to help kind of like give a door in to safety. Because oftentimes when we do feel calm, if the body is moving, we can establish a sense of calm, which tells the mind, oh well, I'm still moving and I feel good, so I'm just going to keep moving, which helps the brain kind of calm down the chatter, and then we can start to kind of make that somatic memory of safety in the body. So that as we progress, you may not feel like you need to move in order to channel in that feeling of safety. So it's kind of it's a progression, right? Oh my gosh, I feel calm. I need to do something. Okay, hang on just a second. You're safe to feel. You're safe to feel the calmness. You're safe to feel the agitatedness and the fear that comes with being still because you're not used to the stillness, right? And we love the part of ourself that isn't used to feeling still because that younger version of us is still traumatized and scared, and she doesn't know what's coming next. So there's lots of different elements and different healing in all of that, and it always comes back to safety. You're safe to feel this way. It's okay. Let's go feel safe. Let's go for a walk. Let's stick our feet in the sand. Let's take a breath. Let's look at the sky. Let's snuggle up to somebody that we love. Whatever it is that makes you feel safe. Okay. All right, let's try again. Can I be still? What are the thoughts in my mind? What's happening in my head right now? What is it telling me that it's not safe to be still? Why is that? And just being so inquisitive and just gentle with ourselves as we go through that experience, knowing like, well, I am safe. I did my safety practice. I'm feeling safe in my body. My body is telling my mind that I'm safe. What's truly happening? And really just kind of giving ourselves that beautiful space to not analyze, but observe the pattern that's happening in our body and in our brain with the thoughts, all of those things. And it all comes again to safety and self-care. Just that beautiful circle. Yeah.
I'm gonna need to like scribble something up of this circle so I can put it along with this episode as a little reminder. I think it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. So simple, but it makes all the sense, and we forget to do this sort of thing all the time.
Mm-hmm. It's hard in the world that we live in because the world we live in is so go, go, go. It's so hustle. It's so fast. So those of us who are recovering from trauma and have PTSD, it's hard to slow down to do this healing because everything around you is moving a million miles a minute, and the precursor to success is hustle is kind of what the overall
grind through it.
Yeah, right. So then when you have somebody like me coming in and saying, well, you need to slow down, that's a piece to heal in and of itself. But it's not that I don't think we forget to slow down. It's just that we've been conditioned to not slow down for so long.
That's the key part, conditioned. Like I find since I've launched this podcast, people have been messaging me and kind of looking for that quick fix because in their personal life, everything's go, go, go. It's pedal to the metal. They, especially nowadays, people want to be CEOs by tomorrow. Nobody wants to do the grind and the hard work it takes to get there. And this is why it was so key for me to have you on, because the people who've been messaging me, as much as I would love to tell you guys there's a quick fix, that there's a pill you can pop, or that use this one journal and your life will be fixed. This is a continuous work. And like Steph has given you and me the foundations of where to begin. We can't start doing this work or start unpacking these things until you feel safe, until you're in a safe environment. And that's not only within the people in your surroundings, but that's also with yourself.
With yourself.
And that's so key. And some of the tips and tricks you've passed on to us already, I'm going to try them out. I encourage you guys to do them too. It's so key. And I guess therefore once people have established that safety and they've done that work and they know their safe space and they're kind of willing and ready to do the work, how do you help your clients realize that they're ready to delve into that once they've established their safety?
They'll feel it. So I mean, in session with my personal clients, they'll feel ready for it, and they'll guide themselves there. I'm simply a guide, giving ideas, right? I'm inspiring action in my clients. That's all I ever do. I'm only ever inspiring action. I'm not giving away answers. I'm not telling you what you need to do. I'm only ever inspiring action within my clients. And I'm only inspiring action within you and your listeners. It's up to you whether you want to go outside and take a deep breath and look at the sky today. I'm just simply inspiring the action. So really, I never know when my clients are ready. My clients know when they're ready. And I know because they know.
Yeah.
So, and it's a feeling. Again, everything that I do is based around the feeling. It's not so much mindsets. It's not so much mantra. It's not so much like meditation and, kind of vibe it out. It's very much so based on feeling, the feeling of safety, the feeling of wanting to dig into your wounds, the feeling of wanting to do the work, the feeling of being so ready to heal is what inspires the true healing.
I love that. And that definitely in line with a lot of my listeners, because so many people have reached out to me to say, Amy, I want to do this. I just don't know where to begin. Or I want to do this. I just don't know how to start. They have the want. And, maybe reaching out to someone like Steph, that's why I have her here, might be the right move for you. You're maybe feeling uncomfortable with reaching out to the people in your surroundings or your doctor or anybody that's in your community. But this is why I brought this beautiful energy, this beautiful human onto this episode, because I feel like she could really influence and benefit you guys. So if any of you are wanting to start this kind of journey, if you feel that if you're ready to, but you just need to get those foundations and figure out where to begin, she may be someone you want to speak to and explore. We've heard some of your great tips, and I'm so thankful that I'm so thankful that you were able to share those with us, because so many people don't want to give away too many of their secrets. So I really appreciate that people can try them out. For those who are listening who may be interested in exploring your services and what you offer, I know you kind of did a little spiel at the beginning about what you do, but maybe you want to explain a bit more depth, just so they can get an idea of, if they were to reach out to you, what would be next to come.
Yeah, so I have a website, www.stephgermancoaching.com, so they can read about me, about all of my services on there. I have a one-to-one coaching program, so I only see clients in a one-to-one setting. And then also they can follow me on Instagram at Steph the German, and I offer free consultations. So if this is something that you're interested in, I am a certified life coach. I'm trauma informed. I do somatic experiencing with my clients, and somatic expression and healing in that way. That's where you can find me, and I do, like I said, free consultations. So you can talk to me for an hour. We can see if it's a good fit for you, if it's something that you would like to do in this way, and I can also help you find somebody that is a good fit. I have a whole network of people that work with all different kinds of people in different situations with different struggles. So if I'm not your girl, like I can help at least guide you in the right direction to help you find somebody that can help you with what you're struggling with. And personally, like I said at the beginning, I work with trauma survivors who are, working through their own self-love and body image, struggles with disordered eating, or, just really struggling with anxiety. Those types of things are what I specialize in. And I'm very passionate because it's what I struggled with and have overcome and now studied to help others with. So yeah, that's how they find me. I've got a website, Instagram. I've got a Facebook too, Steph German Coaching on Facebook. So yeah, message me.
Perfect. And don't be rushing to go grab a pen and rewind and try to write all this down. I will link her information in the description for this episode, and I'll also link it on my social media platforms. She didn't mention it, but she also does every Tuesday on her Instagram. She'll pop up a new video each week for Taco Tuesdays.
Yes,
I love those. I'm addicted to them. I'm always like, it's Tuesday. Where's Steph's video? They're awesome.
Yes, I do. I try to do a different topic every week, and I give away as much tidbits of information and just helpful tips every week. So I do a Talk About It Tuesday video on my Instagram every week. I'm so glad you love that, Amy.
I do. I love the name. I love everything. I'm like, it's like my Tuesday. It's part of my Tuesday routine. I hop on and I watch my videos. It's so much fun. And I know if any of you listeners are anything like me, I like to kind of stalk people before I like sign up to them or give them a call or get to know what they're about. I think I even did that with you as well, Steph. So like,
on me, Amy?
100%, 100%. So for those that are probably wondering, how did these two people even meet or connect? I was on a Zoom call with a woman who I mentioned in so many of my episodes, Samantha Skelly, regarding her Hungry for Happiness program. And Steph just happened to be one of the assistants, I guess, on the call, that if we wanted to reach out for questions, he was there to help. And obviously, she mentioned her story and why she's doing what she does. Right away, I was like, that's so in line with me. Like, it's my story too. So I creeped on her on Instagram. I didn't even reach out to her in the Zoom call. I just creeped her Instagram and started following her. And then once I decided to launch this podcast, I was just like, I have to get her on. Not only is she so in line with me, but I feel like the listeners would be into her too. And like you said, yes, Steph's speciality and her main focus is people who've gone through trauma. But someone listening, may not necessarily have been through trauma, but you may be struggling with, being someone who's too on the go, and you're one of those people that you're so busy that you forget to eat sometimes, you forget to sleep sometimes, and that's taking a toll on your body and your energy, and you want to get back to you and putting yourself forward. That's again somewhere where Steph may be able to help you out. Or like she says, if you're not the right fit for each other, she may know someone who is. She's got such a huge network, way more expansive than mine. I would love to. Well, my aim is to be on her level someday. I'm doing the steps and I'm putting the work in, doing the courses, but she's definitely a few steps ahead of where I want to be. So I wanted to bring her on so you guys can just delve into her brain and learn how she thinks. And, I know she mentioned some topics about body image, disordered eating, and things along that line. And I know you guys have actually reached out to me and asked me to talk about those sort of things. So if you ever want Steph back for an episode, I'm sure we could unpack those again and get into a bit deeper. She knows a lot of her stuff. She's, as you say, she's put her own money into this work. She's got herself educated. So I'm kind of someone who's starting this. She's a good few steps ahead of me. So if you ever want to do an episode to delve into those, let me know, and I'll reach out to her, see what her schedule's like, and we can always get her back. But Steph, before I let you go, do you have any key words of wisdom or any tidbits that you really want to pass on to listeners who are looking to start this journey, who feel like they're ready, who have their safety, that want to get things going? Do you have any words for them? And then I guess second to that, for those that aren't quite there yet, you're still in that fear, but know that something's uncomfortable and know they want to start their journey. Do you have any words for those people as well?
I have two things that I would love to tell both sets of those people. The first one is that everything is happening for you in perfect timing. Everything is happening for you in perfect timing. And the next thing is that you have everything that you need, and you are so supported on your journey no matter what. Those are the two bits that I would just love to leave with your listeners today. Just that everything is happening for you in perfect timing, and you already have everything that you need, and you're so supported on your journey.
I love that. And how as someone, when you hear that, how, for those people who struggle to connect to that, how would you kind of help them to, would you say, use that as a mantra, stick it on your wall, stick it on your mirror, like to connect to something like that?
Right here.
Oh,
Yep, right here.
wow.
I use that same one every single day because I'm still on my journey too. I'm in that circle.
Yeah.
I'm in that circle. And I know that I am so supported on my own journey and I do have everything that I need. And part of being able to fully feel that and step into it is just knowing that people like yourself, Amy, and people like me, like our hearts are in this. They really are. So knowing in your mind, oh, this person's heart is in this. Can I open my heart to feel this? That's the key. Is your heart ready to receive this?
Yeah.
Is your heart ready? Are you ready to open up and receive it? Because it's already there. It's already here for you and it's happening for you in perfect timing.
Give me goosebumps. I get all emotional when you say this, but it's true. Like and I just shared today, the day I'm recording this, I just shared on my Instagram story the messages that people had sent me about the podcast and how they're feeling and how they're aligned with it and where they're at. And you can just see that there's like pain and beauty there. There's people are connected, they're ready. And it's just so beautiful to see that, like, both Steph and I went through some horrible things, but we've changed that around and we want to give those gifts to you guys and get you guys to where we're at. But to even see a lot of you guys starting that journey and wanting to do the same thing is so beautiful. And not only is this an individual loop, but you can see in all of us, Steph, myself, you guys, we're all in this together. It's not just my story. It's not just Steph's story. It's our story.